Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to teach you how to do this dreamy, sparkly eyeshadow look. Starting off with our base, I already prepped my skin. And don't worry, I'll make sure to put the full makeup details down below. Okay, I'm going to start with color correcting. This is from NARS. It's their Tone Up Cream in the shade Mint. So this is going to help cancel out redness. I got this in my previous YesStyle haul, and I've been using it a lot recently. And I think it does a really good job at evening out the skin tone. So this is like my primer that I like to use now. For foundation, I want my skin to look very smooth. So I'm going to go in with this soft matte foundation from NARS. For a little bit of a glow, I'm going to mix in the light reflecting, but only like a little bit. Sit on the back of my hand. I like to apply with my finger first. I do like blending this out with a dry beauty sponge just because I feel that a damp beauty sponge soaks up too much product and you end up wasting money. For concealer, lately I've been using this one from Glow. This is the light and rosy salmon shade. To cover up my dark circles, I'm going in with the rosy salmon shade first, and I just apply it with a brush. Also, sorry I took such a long break from YouTube. I was going through it, but I'm going to do my best to stay consistent again, and I am going to start doing a lot more makeup tutorials on my page. After putting on the rosy salmon shade, I will go in with the lighter shade just to help brighten up the under eyes a bit. Also gonna go ahead and put a little bit of this concealer on top of my eyelids. Next up, I'm gonna apply a little bit of contour right here. I don't like to do a whole lot of heavy face contour just because it just never looks right on me, but I like to do like soft contouring, so I'll just do like a little bit right here. And then I'll also go on my jaw a bit right here. But I mainly just focus it on like the outer portion of my face. I don't ever like go like all the way here. Does that make sense? And then I will tap a little bit here as well. For nose contour, I'm gonna take a small fluffy brush like this. I like to start at my brow like right here and then work my way down like this, and I just keep blending like that. I'm gonna go like right here and then underneath. After doing this, create this curve. And the reason we're doing this step is because it actually enhances these sparkles in a way. We'll get to that step in a second. I'm gonna go in with a brightening powder next, and I'm gonna go down the center. It's okay if it's like a lot. You want it to be a lot so you could brush some of it away. Then we're gonna go down the sides and brush away the excess. I'm gonna use a baby pink blush. Lately I've been focusing my blush like almost underneath my eyes like this. I'm going in with a pink brightening powder next. This one actually looks very white, but it's actually like a very light pale pink shade. Just gonna tap this here and here. The goal for the base of this look is to look very smooth. Also putting a little bit of this brightening powder here and on my chin. I'm gonna put a little bit of the blush on my chin, but not too much. You don't want it to be super like noticeable, but this just adds an extra dimension. Also gonna put a little bit of the blush on my nose. Officially moving on to the eye makeup tutorial, I'm going to do my YesStyle first. I like using this thing from Colorgram just because it makes it really easy to do, and I will smile with my eyes and I will mark it out, and I extend a little bit past my eye, but I won't go out all the way, okay? Don't do that. So I'll do the shaded part first, and then I'll go in with this concealer side, and I will go above the shadow. You don't have to do this, but I do like tapping it in a bit just because I think it looks a little bit more natural. I'm gonna go back in with the powder from before, and I'm just going to tap over it so it doesn't crease too bad. I'm mixing together this shade and this shade, and I'm going to use a big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to apply it like this. This is just like a base for the eyeshadow. You could skip it if you want, but this just helps make the blending process a lot easier. I'm going to take a grayish blue color. I'm going to tap this on my outer corner, and I'm going to blend this across the entire lid, but you want the color to be mostly prominent on the outer corner. I'm going to keep blending like this. If you have the same eye shape as me, you don't want to bring the color too close up to your brows just because it's going to be a little bit too dramatic. You want the color super light on the inner portion of your eye. On top, I'm going to layer a bit of light gray eyeshadow, and I'm just going to tap it on like this, and then I'm just going to brush away the excess. For the eyeliner, I'm going to use a very thin brush, and I'm going to use a black shade, and I'm only going to focus this shadow here. I'm not going to focus any of it on the inner portion, and I'm just going to create a very small wing. I'm not going to go out too far like I usually do. Okay, you should have something that looks like that. Starting about here, I'm going to create a very thin line going out, blend a little bit more this way. Should end up with something that looks like this. Taking a little bit of that gray blue shade from before, and I'm going to hold my brush like this just because I don't want to use another another brush. But I'm gonna focus this on the inner portion of my eye connecting to the black. You don't want it to be too heavy of a color here. You just want it to be super light, kind of like this part. Next, we're gonna add all of these sparkles, a silvery colored one. I'm just picking it up with my finger, and I'm gonna tap this across the entire lid. And you want to tap it above the blue eyeshadow too, but not too much. Don't go too close to your brow, but you're just gonna keep on stamping it on. For the inner corner, you want to use a brush. You don't want to use your finger because your inner corner, you want it to be a little bit more precise. I'm gonna first put it on like this. You're going to just keep on blending that color up like this, and you're also going to blend it down here, and you want it to be this rounded out shape that kind of matches the nose contour that we did earlier. That's why we did the nose contour like that. I'm gonna take a little bit of this shimmer and put it underneath my eye like this, stopping about halfway. Next, we're doing lashes. I'm gonna use this lash curler from Shiseido. Then I'm gonna use the Romand mascara. Before doing lashes, I like to put on a bit of mascara. These are the lashes that I'm going to use. To apply individual lashes, I like putting lash glue on the back of my hand. Make sure the lash glue that you're using is a clear one and not like a colored one like gray or black or something, just because that can get a little bit messy and it can look a little bit weird. Just dip the band into the glue, and I like to start on my outer corner and work my way in, and I space out the lashes a bit for a more spikier look, and I'm pinching the falsies to my natural lashes. The lash map that I use is 13, 11, 12, 10, and then 9. So the rhinestone part, super easy. It can just take a long time depending on how many rhinestones you end up using. I'm gonna take the same lash glue that I used before, and I'm going to mark out where I'm going to put the rhinestones. So I'm going to put a dot here, and then I'm going to add one here and here. I get my rhinestones from Amazon. For the bigger rhinestones, I'm going to use these, and then for the smaller ones, I'm going to use this one. Once the glue is like a little bit dry, you could just go ahead and stick on the rhinestones, and you want to work kind of quickly. So I did the 2 bigger rhinestones on the outer part, and then on this one spot I'm going to do the smaller one. For your highlighter, you can use the sparkly eyeshadow that you used on your lids, but I am actually going to go in with a sparkly highlighter from Fenty, and I'm going to pick some up with my finger, and I'm just going to tap a little bit on. I like to use my finger to apply this one just because whenever I use a brush, it can be a little bit too highlightery, like super shimmery and glowy, as opposed to like just like a dash of sparkle. A little bit on right there, but I'm gonna focus a lot of the highlighter on my nose and a little bit on this part. For my lips, I'm gonna use the lip glaze from Kaleidos. This is the shade called Free Fall. Has a little bit of a grayish purple tint, but it is super sparkly and gorgeous. I highly recommend checking this one out. Anyway, this is the completed look. Let me know what kind of eye makeup look I should do next. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial helped, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!